Hey up, mate. Welcome to part two. We're joined by Ryan from over Lancashire. Are you a Salford lad or a Bolton lad, Ryan?
I'm actually from a really lovely place in Manchester called Levenshulme. But
Yeah.
I was on. It sounds really. I was on probation in Bolton, so and it's dead cheap there, so I moved there. But I've just moved to Salford now, mate.
Good man. Good man. Okay. Eddie's stable at the moment. Can you tell me his top five fighters from the UK that are male?
You'd have to put Joshua in the mix.
Hmm?
I mean, that's a really good question. Um, I know he's not won anything yet, but Peter McGrail, I'd put him in
Joshua
there.
Peter McGrail, that's two.
Um, who else has he got? Parky, who's he
Fisher,
got?
three. Conor Ben, four.
You want to put them in?
No, I'm just saying they're his big noises, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, they're bigger noises than an incredible fighter like Peter McGrail.
Yeah.
Ooh, mate, you stumped me. I honestly couldn't tell you who Eddie Hearn has in the UK that I'm interested in, other than maybe some of the prospects that he's got. That is about it. I'm not interested in any of them really. I'm not even interested. I've never really been interested in Anthony Joshua, frankly. But yeah, yeah, that's a great question. You've caught me out.
Well, I mean, I look at it. He's got J.O. Patia, Bam Bam Rodriguez, and Biville. They're all top £10 for pounders, aren't they?
Yeah, agreed.
Then you've got Jaron Ennis, Eduardo Nunes, Richardson Hitchens. They're like supposed to be next gen of guys, but they're not Brits. He's got Katie Taylor fighting Serrano. Katie Taylor's 39, Serrano 37. That's next month.
Yeah.
Terry Harper's just fought on a GMB show against a 43-year-old dinner lady. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what that's done for her career, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Shaka Stevenson has got him. You say he's on like known as Hitchens and Ennis League, and he's not top 10 pound for pound. He might just be outside that. Do you know what I mean? You just put him in top 20, Stevenson, wouldn't you? So, but there isn't
Definitely.
anybody from UK. Joshua, I mean, what are they doing with him now? I mean,
With
he looks
Joshua,
he looks lost now, doesn't he, Joshua? Oh, I'm injured. You know all that.
he's just done it, mate. He's done really well out the game, man. I think he should just call it a day, have a little gimme fight, and ride off. In my opinion, he's not going to win a title. So what's the point? You're only going to devalue your legacy if he carries on, in my opinion, anyway. Um, but yeah, but that's mad. We have touched on that before. Like I asked you, who would you sign if you were Eddie Hearn, if you were trying to rebuild the
Yeah.
UK stable, if you will. But when you've just said it like that, that is what a turn of
Has
events.
it blown your mind what I've just said to you, Ryan?
Yeah, crazy because
Well, when you
we've
look
we've
at it,
touched on.
right, they keep saying it's best promoter in UK. So let's have a look at his UK roster. He's got Anthony Joshua that's just been put on Button Moon, hasn't got a belt, hasn't been a world champion since 2020. His last win was against an old man in Pulev. Then you've got Crusher Ben, a two-time drug cheat. He's just been beat, right? Then you've got Johnny Fisher, a stiff who played rugby, right? A novice. Dave Allen's just lit him up, smoked his boots. And that's it, basically. Isn't it? Who else has he got? He's got that Peter McGrail, but he's unproven yet.
He's
So
been beat
it
as well,
could do better
unfortunately.
if tried, isn't it? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got OPT, a Bam Bam Rodriguez and Biville, and they're like, and maybe Shaka Stevenson, all them. And maybe Ennis, you could put them in top 20 pound for pound, but they're not Brits, are they?
No one's going to buy into them as well over here.
No, they're not.
No one's going to buy into them. They're not English. They're
No.
not British fighters. No. They might be able to make some. Listen, Eddie Hearn's very good at what he does. He knows how to market things accordingly. I don't think he's a particularly good salesman, if I'm frank with you, because what's he doing here? He can't even sell a proposition to an English fighter. Every English fighter that is worth anything, Bricktop is selling them a lot better than Eddie Hearn can. A boxer. I've got a better UK stable. Ben Shalom has a better UK stable and is propositioning things better than the great salesman Eddie Hearn. Yeah, intriguing, intriguing. I don't think he cares anymore. I don't think
No, he
he.
don't.
I don't think he does. I think like when I don't know, people are born into the kind of money that he was born into. Again, you can't say anything negative about what he has done and what he has achieved. It's incredible, and you could only dream of doing 5%, 10% of it. But he'll get to a level where he thinks, I can't be bothered anymore. I've done that. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. On to the next. I could see. I always think me Eddie Hearn will replace Dana White at the UFC. That's what I always think.
There.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I just think that Dana White is kind of in a similar position over there. I've been watching that. I'm not really into MMA, but I've been watching it a little bit more here and there just to see what goes on the other side. And that UFC is in a little bit of turbulence, a little bit of struggle. The cards aren't very good. Fighters aren't being marketed properly, and I think they'll need a replacement for Dana White at some point because he's at that end of his journey, in my opinion, where that's concerned, and is probably looking for pastures new. And I think who would replace him as president? I always think like Eddie Hearn would be that guy. Eddie Hearn could be that guy, and that'd be again a change in career to some extent, a different direction, and maybe spark his interest because he just isn't interested in, certainly isn't interested over here, which is his bread and butter. And then I don't know, the whole takeover of America didn't really go to plan, did it? Yeah, just I don't know. I feel like he's petered out a little bit. But Frank
Yeah.
Warren has stayed disciplined, stayed consistent because he's come from nothing. He's come from nothing, and he is a relentless person by nature, by environment. And I don't think Eddie Hearn is quite that relentless as the aforementioned Bricktop.
Don't
I
you?
think that's the difference.
You know, when you look at the Dylan White situation, Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
I said last week, look, stop going on about Dylan White. Dylan White, he's going to, he won't be fighting at Portman Road. He's just there to throw his name to the show to try and get ticket sales, to get
Yeah,
Wardley a payday, right? And Wardley will get more money the more tickets sold or whatever, how they're going to work it. But point I want to make is Dylan White didn't look in shape. I only have to look at a fighter. I can tell if they're in shape or not. Dylan White didn't look in shape. He had a fat head on him. And
yeah,
I think he's just took piss out all them fans that bought tickets there. I've seen it online. They're all going berserk, fans.
yeah. Actually,
Saying they've been shortchanged. Yeah, and that's what happens, isn't it? Because the promoters have the right to reserve, don't they, if you want to complain. It's a bit like Big Ron pulling his show for what is it, 16, 10, 20, for 35 days. What's that? 5 week, putting it back 5 week. Everybody will still have to fight on it, or they're not going to get paid, are they? And all tickets
mm.
that have been sold. Do the fighters now need to go back and give everybody refunds or give up no date? But that 19th of January, 19th of July date for Big Ron's show, knowing Big Ron as I do, that might not even happen. Do you know what I mean? If they can't
He's
put it
another
on
one.
now,
Is
what's
he just give
difference in
up?
5 week?
Is Porky is do you think not I'm not saying that Big Ron is from a money background, but do you think he's reached that point to a less extent than Eddie Hearn, and with the greatest of respect? But do you think he's just reached a point where he's think I've been successful, I've done everything that I wanted to do in this game, and I'm just sticking around because for sticking around's sake, and this is what I know to some extent, but I can't really be bothered applying myself as I did yesteryear. Do you think he's there? Do you think that's what the issue is? Because Dennis Hobson used to be the forefront alongside Frank Warren. People in the mix like Mick Hennessy at the time. He had Frotch. Do you think Dennis Hobson is there, like where it's just a side hustle as opposed to a full time thing, if that makes sense?
Well, first of all, Dennis might not be from money, but his dad was a millionaire in early 70s. But
Oh,
he lived with his mum, didn't he? And when Dennis left school, he worked on Ingemel's market. He lived in a really, really one-man small caravan and he used to lift it up and walk around market with it and sell crockery. That's what Dennis did when he left
that's
school.
class. I love that.
Yeah, so he's come a long way, hasn't he? But he's got a bit of front, Dennis. But as regards to boxing, I think he's a dinosaur now with boxing and he's behind the times. And if you're going to keep pulling shows, you're just going to end up but people's not going to want to work with you. I see a lot of people on that show who are not fighting on the 19th. That's what I think of that. Well, we'll see, aren't we? We'll see. But there's people on that show that I don't think will fight next month. But
Mm.
let's hope they do. But you can't keep pulling shows with a week to go. It's no good.
No, no. An analogy to use is if you keep arranging to get someone on the show, and they delay or they don't turn up, you're just gonna think, you know what, they're messes. They're not serious people.
Well,
Like
this is what he's
again, it's
put
just
out, Ryan. Due to injury of one of our title fight bouts and a second fight at withdrawal, the original card has been impacted and we are now operating with a limited fight lineup. To ensure fans get the full experience they deserve, the event has been rescheduled to Friday, 19th of July at Skate Central, Sheffield. We appreciate your understanding and continued support. Uh, All tickets will remain valid for the new date. See, I haven't even read that. Stay tuned for updated fight announcements coming soon. That's Michelle would have put that out. Uh,
who well, full experience. Who's on the card?
uh, would have put. Oh, hang on. To ensure fans get the full experience. Oh, well, it's pulled now, isn't it? But
Who's on the fucking? Sorry for the language.
well,
Who's on the
all the
card?
best fighter on there were Adrian King, I think, wasn't it? Max were on
Oh,
that
he's good.
last one other day, and he got pulled off that, didn't he?
He's good at. Yeah, I like him. I like him. Yeah, he's trained by Curtis Woodhouse, isn't he?
Adrian King. Yeah, he's trained by
I
Kurt.
am right. Yeah, I have seen him on Curtis's channel a few times, and yeah, he looks good. He looks
He's only,
like
I think he's about 19. He can whack like Miller.
he's, he's
Yeah, he's
massive.
powerful. He's a very powerful kid. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
very
he's
nice kid as
huge.
well, you know.
So he is.
He's a really nice kid. He don't slag anybody off. He don't. He's a quiet kid and a hard worker. And Curtis has put his some right grafting with him. So I ain't had a chance to speak to Curtis yet. I will later. But he's.
Yeah, that'd be
I can't
interesting.
see him being happy because they've been in camp, haven't they? It's not. But then again, it's
Exactly.
only put back in it. 14, 16, and 19 to 35 days. Only put back 35 days, but it's uh, it's it's enough in it just to take you out your stride and unsettle your camp and that.
Yeah, of course. It's more money being spent essentially. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I hope Curtis gets. I hope they get something sorted, but I see people being unhappy because there's nothing worse than a show getting pulled just because a couple of people are injured or they're pulling out. It affects everybody on the show. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So, and of course, Dennis will have insurance on all that. He'll have insurance on that, so he won't
Mm.
lose out. Do you know what I mean? So, but
Yeah, he
that's
should give up.
eh?
He should give the game up, Dennis.
Well, it's
He should give the
embarrassing to
game.
see this from Dennis, isn't it? Really? I mean, come on. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it is what it is. So if we spoke about Rhino and Elmer Fudd, Rhino says that the trilogy's still there. Well, it's always an easy fight for Rhino, that pinching money in it, fighting him again, isn't it? Whether
Yeah.
Fisher will take it all or not, I don't know. Do you see Fisher going and getting a new trainer and then going back after Rhino because he's got a contract for the trilogy, or do you see him staying with Thibaut?
But when you said that thing about when you lose, what did you say now?
When you
You put
lose, right, what happens is
go on.
first you're angry, then you're upset, right? Then you look for somebody to blame. It's never what my experience is it mainly on a Monday morning when you hear everybody's story and sob stories about what happened on the Saturday night or the Friday night. What happens is first they're angry, fighters and the managers, the family are angry as well. Then they get pissed off, they're really upset. I remember Tommy Frank's family causing some right problems because I just turned around and said, "Look, I don't rate him. I think he's shit." You just said it true. I think he's shite and you're wasting your time. I don't want to, I'm
Yeah.
not interested in all that. He's a nice kid and all that. When you're knocking back British title fights with Sonny Edwards, and I'm like, oh, they want Sonny Edwards as lot want to fight. Andy Ailing's been on phone. Let's get you on BT. Was it BT Sport or Box Nation? I think it might
It
have
was yeah, I
been
think it was
Sport.
BT Sport then. Yeah.
And they were like, oh, no, we're going in a different direction. Well, when you're knocking back a British title fight, what the FUCK are you in the sport for? Because there's only
Mm,
12 or 13 of you in that weight division, so you can get a title shot again. And Sonny would have moved on. He would have got
yeah.
experience of fighting, but they didn't try to protect him. And when it come down to him going in there with a fight that was 50-50, right in his depth. You know what I mean? We're talking about a geezer here who was blubbering after Josh Wales sparred him. So it is what it is. But you're not allowed to have an opinion. Obviously, I got my knuckles wrapped for saying that. So I don't rate him. I
Mm,
didn't rate him. But you're not allowed to say out. Because everybody's so insecure. You get the trainer upset, the kid's family upset, the fighter's family. And this is where you're treading on eggshells all the time. And I wanted to change all that. Bull in a china shop. So I'd tell it straight. I would
yeah.
tell it straight. I'd say, Liam, you've not been out, you've not been running in the morning. Oh, I dropped a tin of beans on my foot, or whatever excuse, Liam Cameron. Tommy Frank, to be fair, we're an hard trainer, but if you don't like getting hit, you're not going to be able to do the job.
Yeah.
You can look
Simple, innit?
flashy on bag and all these circuit trainings and little sprints running up steps and 6 mile runs in the morning. I've seen Tommy Frank run. I've seen him run in the morning. Liam never used to get up. Cameron, he'd be stinking in bed all day. Tommy
Yeah.
Frank, what a tryer. But if you don't like getting hit, you're in the wrong game. It's like if you were a swimmer. If you don't
Don't
like
like
getting
water.
wet, you're not going to be a good swimmer, are you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You see what I mean? So
Very
if
simple.
you're a food tester and you've got to test certain types of food, say cheese, you've got to be a cheese tester, but you hate cheese, you're not going to enjoy it, are you?
No.
Tommy Frank, for me, couldn't cut the mustard, but he ended up a British champion at the end. There you go. They
Who did he
got
win
it.
that against?
Do you know what? It's immaterial. They bought him a belt. You're not allowed a British title off a loss. I think he'd had a few losses on trot and they managed to squeak him in because there's nobody in that division hardly, is it? But no,
Mm.
I didn't rate him. But you're not allowed to say that in boxing because everybody loses the shit, don't they? Do you know what I mean? But
Mad, innit?
I'm
Such a
I'm
manly
pretty harsh.
sport.
Me, I'm harsh on my kids, Ryan.
Yeah.
My I'm harsh, me. I'm a very harsh person. I'm harsh on myself. But like I said, there were a few people's mouths open after my first month up there, and they were like, "Wow." But I
The
like
best
to
way,
make
innit?
changes, and Dennis for all we're all for packing it in, wasn't it? Now look at him. He should really pack it in now, shouldn't he?
Would he not sell like I don't know, the
Fight
rights to
zone.
his
We want to
business or
buy
something?
fight. Would you want to buy fight zone? What do they put on there?
I meant for
Quite
you.
collar bollocks,
I
isn't it?
meant for you. You buy it.
Hey?
You take it.
I, they reckon it's worth 500,000, don't they? I don't think it is.
Give
I
it
don't
on
think it
tick,
is.
surely.
No, no, it isn't worth that. But if they're bought into some, aren't they? Whoever's involved with Big Ron, they'll be getting the legs lifted, won't they, Ron? Hey, well, it is when nobody's allowed to say out. Right, Sam Jones, with his
Yeah.
fake bone density stories. How stupid does he look now?
He's been a bit quiet, and he Sam.
Yeah.
He's been a bit quiet.
Josh
That's not a
Taylor,
good fight.
hey,
Catterall. I don't know why is that the only fight they could get for Jack Catterall to fight Harlem Eubank, who has never won a British title. I really don't get why Sam Jones. I do rate him. I think he's got a good mouth and he puts himself in
he's
situations that
ambitious, isn't he, Sam Jones, isn't he? But
he's bang
he
on.
can't
Yeah,
match kids for toffee. He's probably the worst manager to ever get a border control manager's license because when I look at some of the lads he's had and how they've been matched, he's been basically greased by the top two promoters in the country. He has been absolutely greased and shafted, Sam Jones. He's like taking candy off a baby, aren't they? Putting your fighters in with his fighters. Do you
well,
know what I
if
mean?
you,
Why would they put Joyce in with Zhang twice when he
he
were
didn't have
WBO mandatory?
he didn't have Joyce then. That was that geeky
He
looking guy.
that Adam Morley, yeah, but he was involved from
Yeah,
beginning, wasn't
yeah. I mean, in fairness, Russell, I will say that some of the matchmaking he did with Joyce at the start, I thought was good. You know, the Bryant Jennings fight and a few of the others, that was good. But I'll go back to it. Jack Catterall is a 140 fighter. He doesn't have the build to go to 147, in my opinion. I don't know how well he makes the weight, but he didn't seem to struggle. He never looked bad at 10 stone. And he's just come off a very close fight with Barboza, who's a decent guy, who's a top 10 guy. Why not? Harlem Eubank has done nothing. Fights on Channel 5, in a leisure centre. How can you proposition that? If you're a good manager, surely you can engineer getting Catterall in with, I don't know, even Sabriel Matthias, Liam Parrow, or some of them guys that have just been beat on that show. That even that, I don't know. Surely there's someone better than Harlem Eubank. If you're a good manager for Jack Catterall or just Sam Jones in general, there's got to be a better route to get Jack Catterall to the top, because Jack Catterall's class. He shouldn't be fighting Harlem Eubank. No way.
Yeah, but Jack Catterall put a glass eye to sleep when he really is. He's not really exciting, is he?
I think the Progress fight was exciting. And he's just started he started doing numbers at the co-op, and he does bring a good following with him as well, especially here in the Northwest.
Ozzy Smith and all that lot from Chorley.
Yeah, I'm not just saying it as well because the local either. I'm being serious. The first time I ever come on your show was protesting about the robbery against Taylor. Again, both Taylor fights were pretty exciting. He just needs someone to engage him, but Harlem Eubank's not going to engage him. Harlem Eubank's not going to march forward and try and take it to Jack Catterall. It's going to be two guys on the back foot. It's terrible matchmaking. And if you're a good manager, surely you can, again, I'll use the word, engineer a better thing, a better fight to propel your guy back into world title contention. Fighting someone who's never fought at European level at the weight above. That's not good. It's garbage. Really garbage.
Yeah,
I'd love to know Sam Jones's rationale behind that. I mean, I'd be intrigued to know if Jamie Moore's had any kind of input where that's concerned, because surely Jamie Moore sees it from the same position that I'm saying it. Why?
I want to know if Jamie Moore has agreed with Sam Jones to let Jack Catterall have his bone density tested if he gets a knockout in his next fight, Jack.
He lives around the corner, actually, for bumping to
Jamie
him.
Moore.
So he does, yeah.
He lives in Salford, doesn't he?
He's walked in, yeah. His amateur gym is about 50 meters away from my house.
I've seen Adam Smith, aka Super, being in an interview the other day. He were knocking one out about Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis's fire station gym or whatever they've got, or whatever it is.
I've trained there. Shit.
Yeah.
Sorry for the language. Yeah, it's not. It's no good. It's absolutely rubbish. It's the word. It's like a good little workout and that, but yes, I don't know why Adam Smith would be waxing lyrical about that gym. There are a lot. I mean, I don't know. They might have had some good kids in there. I didn't see them, but it was an overcrowded gym in my opinion. There was three people to a bag.
Jesus.
When I went in, and I thought, I'm not coming here to train. I did see that night at that Travis there, though. I did see him, in fairness to him. So, irrespective of his great successes that he's had with Jamie Moore, he still applies himself into his bread and butter, if you will, which I think speaks volumes. I think speaks volumes massively.
Okay. EUBANK Senior's on about making a comeback. Has his head gone?
I think it went well before my time. I'm 34 now. It went before my time, didn't it? I think it went 20 years ago, did it?
Well, they were finished in 90s, one at EUBANK after Carl Zaghi, which were 97. I were there, mate. So what that 28 years ago?
Did you go to the Carl Zaghi EUBANK fight?
I went to it, yeah, in Sheffield, yeah.
That's class.
It was my
what did you think of like Carl Zaghi when you came away from that fight? Like, what were your thoughts? What did you think that Carl Zaghi would have the career he had?
No, but I thought Carl Zaghi were quick and he threw a lot of punches, and that was before he had hand problems. He dropped EUBANK in the first round, but EUBANK didn't really throw anything. He was just trying to just hang in there and try and grind him down straight. He didn't. He was shot to death basically, and he took the fight at a week notice. He should have been fighting a stone, half a stone heavier EUBANK on that show. The week before, they offered him title shots, so he stripped another half a stone down and fought Calzaghe, but it didn't work. And the five losses on EUBANK Senior's record all came on bricktop shows. He
An
never lost
elephant
once
never
on a Barry
forgets.
Hearn show.
An elephant never forgets.
I was just saying that. Speaking of an elephant never forgetting, do you think Bricktops put Dylan White out to pasture?
That's why I'm referencing it. I watched that video this morning. Yeah. It's he
Yeah.
knows what he's doing, mate. He ain't
Hey,
like why would he he's got Dillian White because he knew that Dillian White had nowhere else to go. And it was either yourself or Bob who made the point. And
yeah,
as soon as I heard it, I thought, bang on the money there. They know what they're doing. They'll be designing a plan to get Wardley away from Dylan White. I don't think
yeah,
he will, but
yeah.
yeah, they're clever. They know what they're doing.
Right. Okay, well, we'll finish off on this one then. Billy Joe Saunders. He's as big as an house.
Yeah,
Is he going to come
massive.
back?
At what weight?
I don't know.
He's
Cruise.
only 5'10", so he's only a small, fairly small guy.
2 seconds. I'm just get rid of this. Well, yeah, what is he, 5'10" and a half or something? You'd think that if he got serious about it, he could come back at middleweight and get some and go again, but I don't think that he's going to fight again. He's 49 months out the ring, fat as a pig, and he ain't got a fight announced. And he'd need 2 or 3 tickovers, wouldn't
And he's based on reflex as well.
he?
You know,
Yeah.
like
His
if you like
style is, yeah.
like Hopkins. You know, like if you were referencing Roy Jones, James Toney, and then you've got Hopkins. Hopkins was based on pure fundamentals. You know, you'd watch like Andre Ward. You know, you'd see them just practicing a jab and how to defend themselves when they're jabbing. The right hand, where they're putting their head when you throw the right hand, where the lead hand is at that point when you throw. Like these reflex fighters, they can't take that kind of time off. They can't do that. They can't get fat. They can't. And once it's gone, and you haven't learned the actual correct fundamentals of blocking punches, it's impossible for it to come back. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong where that's concerned, but I don't see it, my friend. Nah, I don't
Oh,
see it.
yeah.
I like Billy Joe as well. I think some of his antics were fairly horrific, but yeah, he's entertaining. You want to listen to what Billy Joel's going to say because you never know quite what's going to come out of his mouth, which the sport needs characters like that. So, but it ain't going to happen, I don't think.
Don't
Do you
you?
think it will?
No, no, no. I don't think he'll come back. He's a fool if he comes back 'cause he'll get filled. If he comes back, it's just for money, innit?
Yeah, it is, mate. It is. It is. I mean, he's got enough as well, I assume. I reckon he's been well compensated for not just the
Big
Alvarez
gambler,
fight.
Billy, though, isn't he? Big
Is
gambler.
he actually?
Yeah, likes to bet.
I've been bad on the wheel myself the last couple of weeks. You know.
So on the
But
wheel,
yeah. Oh, pardon?
on the wheel.
Yeah, mate. When I'm not, if I don't have a beer, me, that's the thing. There's always got to be something in there. There's got to be something that you do that's like a little bit, right? Okay, let's go for it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I've been throwing a little bit here and there, mate, here and there. But no, I hope Billy Joe doesn't have to come back for those reasons because that's when it's dangerous, uncharted territory, and you're fighting because your skin.
He wants a
That's not good.
EUBANK fight, doesn't he? He's seen what money EUBANK's got, and he wants a slice of cake, doesn't he?
He'd lose that fight.
Yeah, because he's been too inactive. He'd get
Yeah.
filled in.
Yeah, he would, which is unfortunate. Nobody as skilled as Billy Joe. So, I mean, I remember the first fight. I remember watching like the second half thinking, he's going to lose this. He's going to lose it. How is Billy Joe, who's just walked? He walked the first six, like maybe the first five, really easy. And again, the second half of the fight, I'm watching thinking, what on earth's going on here? Like, but then that's when I could tell then. And then you start having a look at his old fights and he's fought like heavyweight. He's 5'10". Like he's not a muscular guy. He's just got no discipline at all. And he even confirmed it himself, didn't he? He'd not really trained
Well, if he
to
lost to
fight.
EUBANK, he'd won a trilogy because he said, well, it's 1-1 now. We've got to have a decider. They
We
get
get
another
ripped
payday.
off, you know, mate. I'd
Yeah.
watch it as well, but we don't half get ripped off in this country, you know.
With
We
boxing,
get,
we do.
yeah, we get stung left, right, and centre. I remember the hoop again. That was one of the first videos I did as well. Khan Brook. I was selling tickets as well for it. In fact, I was paid by a tout to go and sit in Manchester City Centre at a bar, and there was people paying hundreds and hundreds of pounds, mate. Like, and I'm like looking at them, and I was like, "Oh, are you boxing fans?" And they didn't have a clue. They didn't know anything about boxing. They didn't know, you know, who was the first person to beat Amir Khan, or they didn't know anything
Prescott.
about. Yeah, well, they wouldn't have known that. They were just people who buy into the gimmick and the marketing and everything like that. We fall for things in this country too much. Like, we don't get proper service, in my opinion. We just get gimmick. You have to call it a gimmick because it's not a proper fight unless it's for a world title or it's an eliminator for a world title. Well, it's not really anything, is it? You know, when look at those kind of level of fighters, what is it? It's not.
No,
What is
no.
it? What you
Podium.
quantify that?
I
No,
don't know,
I don't
mate.
know.
It's a mess. But anyway,
A mess.
listen, we've been lied to by promoters on a daily basis. I mean, look what they've just done there with Dylan White. They put him on show, knowing full well he wasn't going to fight anybody.
Yeah,
Nothing's changed, and I think that's why Turkey's got rid of him all because he don't like how Bricktop and Eddie Hills, the Iceman, he don't like how they work. So,
yeah, I
okay,
agree.
right, I'm going to get off now.
Go
Listen,
on, mate.
thanks for coming on, Ryan. It's been a real pleasure, and we'll
No,
speak again.
likewise, my friend. Likewise. Take care of yourself, Parkin. God bless.
See you, mate. Bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Well, that were Ryan from Lancashire. Nice to have him on. Uh, talks talks a lot of sense, Ryan. Well, that's about it, really. Now, time for some tea now, I think. I fancy I got on toast. Well, peace out. Max, give me a ring. Stop hiding. Pop, pop, bang.